Now let's talk about post methods. So what about post methods? So you can see once you click here, you would get all the options. So if you want to create a post API, you can hit a post API, you can hit this from here. Put, patch, delete, whatever API you want, you can hit that from here. So let's create a post API first of all, that is allowing us to add a user. Okay, so for that what we would do is we would simply first of all say router dot post, and I'm just again going to name the API with the same name, but this time this is post method, not a get method, so don't get confused. Okay, so req.res. Then inside this, guys, I would simply say first of all get the user data from the body. That means front end would be sending some data. Suppose you are registering a user into your database. What you would do, you would take the user data from front end to back end, then back end would be saving the data somewhere. We are saving the data into our database, but you would be saving the data into MongoDB later on. Again, same process, but right now you are getting the data from front end to back end. We got the data. Then we would simply say get all the users. So const get all the users. Okay, get all the users. And actually you don't need to get all the users, you would first of all create a temporary ID. Okay, so I would just say that the user which we got, so we would simply print this user, so console dot log, and here we would just print the user and res dot json user added. Okay, for now I'm just saying test. Okay, first of all I have to check that whether I'm getting user or not. Okay, whether am I getting user or not. So first of all let's try to hit this API. So let's close this and let's open postman, and this time I want to hit a post API in the users. If I click on send, you won't get anything in this, you won't get anything because you haven't provided anything in the body. So first of all I need to provide something in the body. What I would do is I would simply say headers. Here you need to say content type application JSON. When you're providing something in the body, you have to define it like this. So I'm providing JSON format data into the body. That means here I would simply say we have raw. Inside this, what you have to do is you have to provide some JSON format data. So I would just copy a document from here itself, temporary example, and you won't be providing id would be generated by the backend. Remember, id is always generated by the backend or database. From front end you never generate an id, okay, else that's very less secure. Okay, so right now I'm just going to name it as Harshal Jain, right? And let me just make sure that we don't have any user named as Harshal Jain, right? So we don't have any user named as Harshal Jain. So I'm just creating a user named as Harshal Jain and HJ, and what else? Or let me just write it like this, right? So this is the data which I want to send. So if I click on send, you can see that here I get this. That means first of all I'm getting the data from front end. Okay, so similarly you would be sending data from the front end. We have different method there, but right now you can assume that this is my front end, website, and I am sending some form data which I have taken for registration to the backend. So in the backend I got the data. Now I want to save this data. So what I would do is I would simply perform the append operation very easily. So first of all I need to generate an ID. So I would simply say user dot id equals, and I would just say just get the current date and just make it an id. Okay, so just get the current date, and from that just extract the time and convert that, actually just extract the time. Okay, so it would extract the time into milliseconds. And now if I just try to print the user and let's hit this, so you can see I got a unique ID. So this would be unique for every single second, so you don't need to worry. So you can see that we just generated an ID. Instead of this we have a package named as UUID. You can also use that, but for now I'm just using this. Okay, so now here we have generated a user. Now I just want to save this user. How we can do? So we can simply say append data, and we just need to add this user. Okay, so once you add the user into the file, that means we are just sending that user object here and we are just adding it to our file. Once you add this, you would be simply saying that after this user added successfully. Okay, so now let's try to check it. If I click on send, you can see user added successfully, but here the problem is you are adding the data after this. Okay, you are adding the data after this. Okay, so the problem is you can't actually perform the append operation here directly. Okay, what we'll do is, instead of this, we don't need the append operation here. We would simply say get all the users. Okay, so get all the users and modify the array using push operation. Okay, so what we would do is get all the users. So I would just again say, for getting the users, we did the same operation here. So I'll just copy this and paste it here. So I got all the users, that means all users array. Now I would push this single object to this complete array, then I would write that. Okay, so I would simply say users dot push user. Okay, that means inside this complete array, I have passed my single new object. Okay, so now if I just try to, suppose if I just try to say write data, so here we have the write data. So I'm just saying we don't need the append, we can directly perform, right? I'm just saying now we have modified our array, so just pass that array. That means this old array would be removed, new array would be added with the modified data. That means a new object would be added, and altogether a new array would be added here. Okay, so old array would be replaced with the new array using the write method. Okay, so here what I've said is just get the old data, add new object to it. That means now we have plus one object, one more object, and then perform the write operation. So we would simply say write data from file, and then we would simply say user added successfully. Whatever user you have added, you have to just send this as a response also, so that the backend would know, yeah, the front end would know that this user has been added. Okay, so now let's try to test this. So if I click on send, you can see the problem here is read data from file is not defined. Okay, actually we made a problem here. Okay, my bad, I need to comment this append file. Okay, so read data from file, is here. Now it's fine. So first of all, I'm reading all the users, then pushing a single user to the old array. That means previously if we were having 6 users, now we have total 7 users. Now we are saving those 7 users by replacing this 6 with those 7. Okay, that's it. So after this, we are just sending this. So now let's try to send. So guys, here you can see user added successfully, and we are able to see the response. Now let's check the file. So again, the format has been a little bit different, but now it's fine. Okay, so you can see that I got the new user we just now added. Okay, we just now added a new user and I got that. So if you want to see that again, I would just add a new user named as Virajan. If I click on send, then you can see that we got a new user named as Virajan. So you can see that it looks very easy, and that's how you can perform the post request.